Ask anyone in Britain to name a famous businessman, and they'll almost certainly say Alan Sugar, or Lord Sugar, Baron of Clapton, to give him his fancy new title. You might know him as the self-made millionaire behind Amstrad in the 80s, or the unpopular owner of Tottenham Hotspur in the 90s, or the bad-tempered TV boss in The Apprentice.
I'm very disciplined. That's all I can say to you. Very, very disciplined. A creature of habit. What's that thing? Is it called OCD or something like that? Yeah. If you look at my desk, you'll see all the pens lined up like that, and the piece of paper over here, and the cup over there, and all that. So I am just very disciplined. That's it. And I think in business and in life, I've work on the principle of clear my desk every minute or every day, so answer emails immediately, answer people's questions immediately. That's been my success in running my company, that I'm there to, like a springboard, if you like, for employees to tell me what their issue is, and then to give them a quick resolution or to it so they can get on and deal with it. So that's my discipline, and I would heartily recommend it to all of you. If you decide to become, you should be disciplined. You should discipline yourself, because it's not a bad way of life.
On the Sunday Times Rich list, you appear to be getting poorer. And I find that hard to believe.
I will say this. They should have a different list. A list of, come forward, someone who can write a cheque out now for £100 million. Write the cheque and put it into the bank and get it paid.
How many of them do you think could pass that
test? I don't
test?
think too many of them would. Now, I'm not, I could, okay, because that's the way I run my business.
What's
in my
the biggest
life.
cheque you could write right now?
Over 100 million, and it would get paid.
Do you realise you're actually wealthier than Sir Paul McCartney, who wrote some of the greatest songs in history?
I don't know.
Do you think that's fair, that you should have more than him?
Well, I think he's done very well, considering he's a musician.
Well, I'm looking at a body of work of the emailer,
Yeah,
the Sky Dishes,
yeah.
and some...
A few computers we made.
And a few computers
Yeah,
against
a few million, yeah.
Yesterday, Hey Jude, and Let It Be.
Okay.
Which do you think is going to leave the longest legacy?
Without a question of a doubt, the emailer.
My aspirations were to be self-sufficient and provide for myself. Was it electronics? I don't know. I was interested in electronics in school, in physics and things like that, so maybe I tumbled into that area. It kind of fascinated me a little bit. But did I ever believe I'd be the largest manufacturer in computers in the country, in Europe? No. What I wanted to be was a self-sufficient individual that didn't have to rely upon anybody else.
There were a lot of insightful things in his early life, which I thought had played a part in creating the man that he is, from the rather cold way that his parents were towards him. And I thought that collectively, all that must have contributed to him being so driven.
Well, I think he always had that drive to do something, because he knew he wasn't going to get anything from his mum and dad. He had to work to get somewhere. When I first met Alan, I could see there was always that coldness there, and he's just got warmer the more we were together.
Did you see the coldness from his mum and dad?
Oh yes, they were completely different to my mum and dad. Yeah, I could see that.
But do you think he was properly loved by them, or was it?
Oh yeah, no, I'm sure he was. But
they weren't
found it hard
demonstrative?
to show. No, they found it very hard to show it.
Which is a trait that he inherited for a long time.
Yes, yeah.
I mean, has he ever got...
Alan still finds it very hard to show his feelings.
People watching The Apprentice, they think he's this kind of heartless...
I know, I can't stand that. I think that's awful. They think, yeah, I really don't like that about the show.
Do you think it's not the real Alan?
No, it's definitely not the real Alan. It's much softer and kinder.
Part of me thinks he doesn't really mind that image, because if he did, he would stop doing the show.
Yeah, well, obviously he knows it's part of the show. That's how he's supposed to be. But
it upsets you to see him.
I don't like it.
It's a complex character, I'd say.
But it's not once you know him.
No, he's not.
Once you get to know him,
he's complex in the sense of the persona that he allows to be out there.
It's like he won't let his guard down.
How important to you is your reputation?
Very important. Yeah, of credibility and being honest and straightforward. Very, very important. I would say it ranks very, 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 very high. You know, I've done some silly things. I've said some silly things in my time in the football days. That's self-inflicted, if you understand what I
And
mean.
if you were being really critical of yourself for a moment, what would you say are your worst qualities?
Losing my temper, flying off the handle. There are occasions when, you know, in the football world, my temper sometimes gets ahead of me and made some silly statements, and I may have said a few things that perhaps in hindsight weren't clever things to say.
How do you like being famous?
If we go back to the football days, and I was out in the street, you would get someone say, "Oi, sugar, you, blah, 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 get your blah, blah, blah out and spend some money." Something endearing like that. You understand?
No, it's a warmer reaction.
Now it's a more warmer reaction. The youngsters who are kind of fascinated with me, and you get very, very polite ones. "Excuse me, Sir Alan, would you mind having a picture taken, this, that, I love your show, blah, blah, blah," and all that stuff. And the other funny side of things is the women between the age of 45 to 50, who, if I'm at a function somewhere, they will come up and their husbands are kind of lurking in the background, gritting their teeth, like this, while the woman is saying something like, "I really love your program, my daughters, my sons, we sit down and watch it."
Do you think you've become a bit of a sex symbol?
No, I knew you were going to say that. That's you, I said.
Well, a certain type of woman. You're
compared to you.
very attractive.
Let's face it, I'm 63 years old, and those times have gone. Well, they were never there, really.
Do you think there's still a particularly noticeable gender imbalance in top business roles? And if so, do you have any particular reason as to why that might be?
Well, it's an ongoing debate about women not having top roles in business. And yeah, I mean, facts are, you're right. That is it. It is a fact of life. Do people like me or anybody else, do we go out of our way to say, "Oh no, can't entertain you, you're a woman"? No, it's not like that. It's the people that put themselves forward to want to take up the roles, to want to take up the jobs, tend to still be the majority still seem to be men. I've had some fantastic women that work for me, unbelievable. The lady that ran my French operation, she was a real killer, that one, honestly. She was unbelievable. And also my personal assistant for about 15 years was a Chinese lady by the name of Callan So. Brilliant computer brain. She kind of knew everything that was going on. Right now I have a business partner by the name of Susan Ma. She is fantastic, really, in what she does. She manufactures cosmetics and sells them and does this kind of social selling type of thing. I don't have a problem with it, and I don't. But to be fair, I've always worked in my own company. So I've never been a part of a giant organisation. I've never worked for, a giant organisation like Shell or BP or something like that, as a corporate type of person. So perhaps I'm wrong. Perhaps I don't see things in the way that things go on in the real world. I've been my own boss since I was 18 years old, and anybody can come and work for me, anybody, and I welcome anybody to come along. In Denmark, it was a great eye-opener for me when I bought the mobile phone company in Denmark. That and I'm going to admit this openly, that walking around inside the laboratory, I saw women, and I said to the guys, "What's these young ladies doing?" They said, "Well, they're software engineers." And we're talking about 25 years ago, and I must admit it was a bit of a shock to me. Software engineers? And what's that lady do? What they do now? She's a hardware engineer, and I thought, right, yeah, why not? Why not? And it was a bit of a wake-up call for me, quite honestly. But in England, when we advertised for hardware engineers to design microchips and things like that, we weren't inundated with lots of women. we're inundated with blokes that have done it before, and they got the jobs, not because of who they were or the gender, it was because those were the ones that were coming forward. The problem with CVs is they sometimes are, and I put it mildly, somewhat embellished, if you understand what I mean, about the person's capabilities. I mean, clearly you can't lie about things like your qualifications and all that stuff, because they're there on the record. But you know, you read people's CVs about what they did and what they claim to have done, and you can tell straight away from reading a person's CV that you don't even have to see them to know that perhaps this person is embellished their CV a bit. I think stick to the facts of what you really did. You know, stick to the facts of what you really did. So many people, I mean, if you was in a certain company and let's say you claim to have been the leader that got them into the French market, for example, I will guarantee you that there will be most probably 10 other people who said, no, nothing to do with him. He once went on a day trip to Calais. I don't know where, you know, so it's really, I would think that you put in a CV what you can back up. So that if someone questions you, that you can give a real credible, non-waffle answer to the claims that you make. I think that's the most important thing. Tell the truth in there, really, including any weaknesses that you might have.